So, we are going to discuss about the hydrogen chloride. The first question, which asked in the exam, is the based on the lab preparation of HCl. Okay, when you are reading this chapter or go through this chapter, hydrogen chloride, you understand that when we have to make HCl, okay, you already read it in the chapter acid, bases, and salts. For just recalling it, that we have to make a reaction of sodium chloride, okay, with concentrated H2SO4, and the temperature should be just uh, above 200 degree centigrade. Okay, the temperature should be not greater than 200 degree centigrade or below the 200 degree centigrade, and the formation of HCl is take place. Okay, and one compound sodium hydrogen sulfate is made, okay, in this reaction. So if you see, uh, first question will be asked here, that why temperature is less than 200 degree centigrade or equal to the 200 degree centigrade. Okay, so the answer is, if temperature is just above the 200, greater than 200 degree centigrade. Okay, first thing is that one the reaction will be goes reverse. Okay, opposite reaction will become here. So if you see, if the temperature is, if you see the first uh, example here, the whole reaction will be changed. Okay, 2NaCl plus H2SO4, 2HCl, and one different compound is formed, which is formed the sodium sulfate. Okay, in a state of sodium hydrogen sulfate. So this is a opposite reaction will be occur, and it is this sodium sulfate. Okay, this compound just stick to the, you already understand that this reaction will be take place in a beaker. Okay, so suppose this is a beaker in which we have to make HCl. Okay, we just combine here NaCl and H2SO4, concentrate H2SO4. If the when and provide heat, okay, like this. If the heat is more than 200 degrees centigrade, it means this compound will be formed here instead of this. Okay, so this sodium sulfate stick to the walls of this, okay, beaker. Okay, so it sticks like this. Okay, if you see, so it sticks like that, so it just prevent the further reaction. Okay, no further reaction will be take place, that is formation of HCl will be prohibited. Okay, so first, why the temperature is not more than 260 degrees, first is the reason. Second reason is glass apparatus may crack. Okay, the reaction in which take place, it may be crack because of the high temperature. And very much non thing is fuel waste. Okay, when the reaction is come into the point only in 200 degree centigrade, why we have to raise the temperature. Okay, so these are the points which you can write, and this question may be asked in exam also. Okay, if you see the questions of previous papers and etc., so you can find this question, that first question is already there, that why temperature is not to be raised more than 200 degree centigrade when we make the HCl in lab. Okay, so for this was the first question based on the topic. Another question which can become, that why we are using only concentrated H2SO4 for making the hydrogen chloride. Okay, why we are not using concentrated HNO3. Okay, this question can be asked. Okay, so the answer for this is that the concentrated H2SO4 sulfuric acid is non-volatile. Okay, non-volatile means it when we the temperature is goes beyond the 200 degree centigrade, it is not evaporate. But if we use this HNO3, okay, it is volatile acid. Okay, its vapor goes evaporated here. Okay, so that's why we are not using concentrated HNO3, because it is a volatile acid. Another question based on the lab preparation asked that why we can't use CaO. Okay, why we can't use CaO quicklime. Okay, drying agent. Why you are not using drying agent here? Because it is a, you all know that it is a base. Okay, and it can react with HCl. Okay, it is the preparation when the HCl is evaporated in the form of gas here. Okay, you have to keep in mind. Now we have to dry it. Okay, we have to dry it for getting in the form of metal. Okay, HCl we have to change it. Okay, in the form of acid. If we want to get HCl is evaporated in the form of gas here, so we have to dry it first. Okay, so we use the drying agent like H2SO4. Sometimes question also asked. So blindly you can write that H2SO4 is a drying agent whenever it comes to the, okay. So question asks that why we use H2SO4 as a drying agent, why we are not using CO, because CO is a, you know that it is a base. When it reacts with acid it can neutralize it. Okay, and it become the uh, salt and water will become here. So that's why they both react with each other. Okay, and neutralize each other. That's why we are not using CaO. Okay, but instead of H2SO4, you know that these both are acid and don't do not react with each other. That's why we use H2SO4 as a drying agent. Okay, so in this reaction also you can see that H2SO4 act as a drying agent here. Okay, and two things are there. One thing is drying agent, and second is dehydrating agent. Okay, so drying agent is the agent which is just uh, capture the molecules of vapors, okay, vapor form or gaseous form. But the dehydrating agent, as the higher term is, it just capture the molecules of water. Okay, that's why. And this H2SO4, sometimes questions also asked, this H2SO4 act as both drying as well as dehydrating agent. One more question is there, okay, about the properties. When you read through the properties of hydrogen chloride gas, okay, first property is that it is acidic. Second, it is sour. It is pungent, means a bad smell coming out from that, and colorless. Sometimes the main question is that it is a colorless gas. Okay, the main thing the main thing of this gas is high solubility with water. Okay, it is highly soluble in water. Just remember in mind that HCl gas is highly soluble in water. Okay, sometimes question also asked. So one experiment is also done for this. Okay, this experiment is called fountain experiment. Okay, to demonstrate the high solubility of HCl gas in water, we use the fountain experiment. Okay, the name of that experiment is fountain experiment. Now we have to understand that what is that experiment. So first thing, okay, this is the apparatus. You can also see in your book that in which was small. If you see that structure, okay, a small pipe-like structure is here, and a dropper water is here. If you see, okay, it is a dropper water, and it is a HCl gas is filled in here. Okay, we have to show that the solubility of water. So in vessel HCl gas is there. Okay, in this not water, it in this only HCl gas. Okay, you just see the structure well and arrows well. Then blue litmus are filled here. Okay, one thing is there, blue litmus. Okay, blue litmus is here with HCl gas are dissolved in it. Okay, HCl in the gas form. So it we have to, first thing we have to do, that we have to squeeze the what this dropper water. Okay, water is filled in there in this water dropper. Okay, in this structure, so we have to squeeze it. Okay, when we squeeze it, water vessel enter here. Okay, water are coming here, and this HCl gas, okay, due to the suction pressure goes above its side. Okay, and you know that atmosphere also put their pressure here. Okay, because it is an open vessel, atmosphere also put a pressure. Okay, normal pressure which is exerted by pressure. So due to this pressure, this HCl gas which is in this or in this blue litmus which is there, it goes upside and it flows here like that. Okay, now you can understand that how we can say that this is a soluble in water, because here the volume becomes zero or the whole amount. Okay, the HCl gas will be just captured within the few drops, only 2 drops or 4 drops of water is captured by this HCl gas. Okay, so HCl gas is completely dissolved in these molecules of water. Okay, you can understand that the solubility of HCl, that if we talk about the 1 drop of water, it can be, okay, it can be just capture or dissolve the 700, okay, 700 ml of HCl gas. Okay, so that much of solubility found, okay, of HCl gas in water. Another thing, okay, one thing is there, you eventually prove that, okay, sometime question also asks that how can you prove from the fountain experiment that the HCl is highly dissolved in water. This is the first thing. Okay, first you can say that proof that this gas is highly soluble in water. Okay, and the name of this tube is jet tube. Okay, and second thing, when you see its structure, okay, atmospheric pressure, okay, atmospheric pressure, okay, forces blue litmus to give upwards jet tube. Okay, this atmospheric pressure, that's why I'm saying that it goes to the upside. And blue litmus, second evidence, okay, for the solubility of that gas, okay, in water, that blue litmus will turn red in form of fountain. Okay, here you can understand this easily, that this is the blue litmus solution. Okay, then the gas is coming outside in this jet tube. Okay, so you can easily understand that in this structure, in this tube, blue litmus goes upside, but here the color of that litmus turns to red. It means it is a gas is there, and there is a scarcity of volume. Okay, volume also goes down, atmospheric pressure also goes down in this tube. So that's why you can tell that by two things. Okay, the first thing is that there that you have to understand dissolvability of water, that is when we squeeze that it dissolves the HCl. Second, and pressure become low at the jet tube. And second thing, blue litmus turns into red. That's why we can say that the HCl gas is highly soluble in water. Okay, when we go through the chapter, you can understand well this one. Okay, now we move ahead. One major thing I want to tell you that, okay, HCl and NH3 gas, when combined, they form a solid structure, okay, NH4Cl, ammonium chloride. Okay, dense white fumes of this solid, okay, evaporated. So this question can be asked, okay, one compound, okay, one compound which exists in all types of bonds, covalent, ionic, and coordinate. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that this is, okay, ammonium chloride is the compound. Okay, all you have to keep in mind, because this question can be asked in exam, that ammonium chloride is the compound which exists in all types of bonds. Okay, all three types of bond which you were studied in your previous classes. Okay, that is ammonium chloride. Okay, so keep in mind that. Now, one thing is also you have to read in this chapter about HCl. When we talk about HCl, okay, as you know that it is acid. Okay, one process, back suction. Okay, it is the same process. Okay, like when you just drink the any drink with the help of a straw. Okay, it is the process of back section like that. Now we have to drawing this HCl. Okay, as you know that we have to generate an HCl, sorry, HCl by the combining it with concentrated H2SO4. Okay, in the lab when we making it. So this is the process take place. As you know that HCl gas is make there, and water is filled here. Okay, and it comes to the downward side. Now you can understand that this HCl gas is just highly soluble in the water. Okay, so it will goes back. Okay, when we so see it, it of goes back again. So we have to prevent this back suction. Okay, so rate of generation and rate of dissolving is greater than when the here is water, rate of dissolving is greater than the rate of generation. Okay, HCl gas is generated here and it dissolved eventually here. So how we will get the HCl gas? Okay, so to overcome from this situation, okay, scientists make something new to prevent this back section of HCl. Okay, they just make an inverted funnel arrangement. Okay, like this. Here HCl generate, okay, and when we make this type of a structure, the surface area of the for HCl gases become higher. Okay, now we have much more space if we compare with the earlier one. So it can be you can say dissolve very uh, in low rate. Okay, back suction of water will be prevent, and because of provides the larger surface area. Okay, when you read through it, you can better understand that why we use. Sometimes question also asks that why we use inverted funnel arrangement or inverted funnel for the making of HCl gas, because it provides the answer is it provides the larger surface area. Okay, so you have to keep in mind these things. This is someone what you already read in your acid basis chapter. So, but just for recalling, okay, I'm asking you so that I'm telling you that HCl acid. If we talk about the HCl acid, it is acidic and it turns the litmus paper blue to red. Okay, uh, if we have to come understand that the acidic nature of HCl. Second thing, it converts to methyl orange to pink, and third is phenolphthalein is colorless in this HCl. Okay, this is the characteristics of acid which shows in the different if you said the in these. Okay, litmus paper, methyl orange, and phenolphthalein. Now, other things which will be asked about the HCl, and you already read it in the previous chapter, acid bases and salts. Okay, reaction with metals. We have just taking the two examples here. You can write others also. You can understand the others also. Okay, whenever this HCl gas react with some metal, okay, it just make an salt and hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay, Zn plus HCl, it make the ZnCl2. Okay, you just make a balance also. Okay, balance these equations also as write it as. Then Mg plus HCl when reactive with magnesium hydrogen chloride, it make magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas is liberated. So just recall that whenever some acid react with metals, the hydrogen gas is produced. Okay. Second thing is reaction with base. Okay, when it reacts with base, it also form the salt plus water here. Okay, in this I think yes, I'm the full screen is not coming. So when it react with base and acid, it is the from the chapter acid and base, salt and water will be formed. Okay, you have to understand in mind. Suppose CO is acid, it react with HCl. Okay, it form a salt, calcium chloride, and water will be formed here. Okay, so this type of reactions for occur for the all bases. Now other thing, when we talk about the reaction with metal carbonates. Okay, so metal carbonate plus acid, it becomes salt S2 and CO2 will be liberated. In this the CO2 gas is liberated. So if you see that Na2 CO3. It is a sodium bicarbonate. Okay. When we talk about the sodium carbonate, metal carbonate it was. So it react with HCl and a salt will be formed, NaCl formed, H2O formed, and CO2 will be formed. So you have to keep in mind these things. Okay. What happen when it react with metal, what happen it react with base, and what happen it react with metal carbonate. If you understand only one general equation, you can write others also. Okay. Same thing is that for sulfides also. Okay, if we talk about the sulfides, sulfite plus acid. Okay, it forms the zinc. It forms the salt and hydrogen sulfide gas is liberated. Okay, sulfide means S and its valence is -2. So zinc sulfide, uh, we take two examples here: zinc sulfide and lead sulfide. Zinc sulfide, when react with HCl, it forms the ZnCl2. Salt is formed, zinc chloride and H2S. Okay, don't forget to balance the equations when you write. Okay, see on your book also. Lead sulfide plus lead chloride when it forms, and the hydrogen sulfide gas is liberated. Okay, so this is the main thing, okay, which I want to discuss with you, because very important. You can note it down it also. It is a very important and can be asked in exam, that thiosulfates. Okay, it reaction with thiosulfates. It means it react with S2O3 2 minus. Okay, its formula of thiosulfate is S2O3 2 minus. So when we talk about this sodium thiosulfate, okay, there are two different things. Thiosulfate is individually, this formula can be asked is S2O3 2 minus. Now we talk about the sodium thiosulfate. So it written as Na2 S2O3 plus HCl. Okay, it is the sodium thiosulfate. When it react with HCl, okay, the normal reaction will be happen. A salt is formed, NaCl, water formed, sulfur dioxide gas is liberated. Okay, you have to keep in mind sulfur dioxide gas is liberated, and a yellow precipitate of sulfur is formed here. Okay, this is the main thing. It can be asked in exam. You have to write equation or what happen if HCl react with sodium thiosulfate. Okay, so a yellow precipitate of sulfur will be formed in this reaction. Okay, so you have to keep in mind. You can note it down also. Okay, somewhere. So this was very important for you in the for the perspective of exam. Other reactions are also which you have to read, that reaction with nitrates also. Okay, lead nitrate. We take the example of lead nitrate. White precipitate is formed whenever it reacts with nitrates. Just kept in mind, whenever HCl react with a nitrate, whether it is lead nitrate, whether it is a this silver nitrate. Okay, so always white precipitate is formed. Okay, of silver chloride and lead chloride, uh, accordingly to lead and silver, and nitric acid will formed here, HNO3. Okay, so this is the reaction with nitrates. And one more thing, sometimes students also ask that sir questions कहाँ से आ रहे हैं. So these are the questions which will become. Okay, you don't understand the things that insoluble in excess of HNO3 but soluble in excess of NH4OH. Okay, that's why I'm writing. Sometime question also asks the write the name of a precipitate which is insoluble in excess of HNO3 but soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide. It is related to the previous one chapters. Okay, so when we talk about the silver chloride, it is insoluble in excess of HNO3. When the excess of HNO3 occur, it is insoluble. But when excess amount of ammonium hydroxide is given, okay, it is soluble. So that's why you have to keep in mind. And for this chapter, you have to just go through with the common practical chemistry, the last chapter which is given on your book. So if you go through the practical chemistry, many questions will become. You have to not to understand that इससे क्या होगा उससे क्या होगा. You're just they are just giving by sequence. Okay, what compound formed, how the ionic forms, and other things. If you go through that chapter well, you can understand the all things in this chapter or other by about the other compounds also. So you have to not to be worried about the how questions will be formed. So only this type of questions, and from these questions I'm just taking the examples as I started with the examples of how the questions is formed from whatever you have already read. Okay, and because you just read that the temperature will be to less than 200 degrees centigrade, but when you go in deep, okay, you have to understand that why temperature is kept, okay, uh, below 200 degrees centigrade. This is the first question, and other questions also we discussed today.